with that, we should be live. So, greetings and welcome. I am Joffrey, and joining me today is Vector Maximus and the Darkest Light, and we are discussing something that is both simple yet exciting at the same time. At least I imagine it's simple. We're learning about development and roads. Interesting that those go together. I suppose it makes sense that roads would be just something separate from your normal buildings, but I'm curious to see how it actually works. All right, it is working. So, in today's Tinto Talks, we will delve into a few different and not entirely related subjects. Oh, okay. Not entirely related necessarily. Well, that's interesting then. It's in the super secret game. And today, yes, but they're important for what we need to talk about, as they will be referenced a fair bit in future Tinto talks. So yeah, this is another case of them just being like, all right, we've expanded to enough of the map, and we've worked enough on the mechanics where it is okay for us to now expand on here is another level of gameplay. So makes sense. We're going to learn about developing and such. So just like how we now with all the Tinto maps are getting shown all the different yes, Golden Horde. We see the whole Golden Horde in all its glory. Though,
Yeah, and all its low development glory.
shush you. Um, actually, I don't see Astrakhan. I can't make out Astrakhan. So that's
If you right click it, it makes it and open a new tab. It makes it bigger, Joff.
I don't see Astrakhan on here though. It's not like it's all still shitty, but
Yeah, it's all broke.
yeah.
Look at that glorious green in Italy and all the yellow in Europe. Can't wait for that to
Yeah.
tank within 10 years of the
Oh
game
my
because of the
god.
Black Death.
Presumably the Black Death affects it,
Milan shall
yeah.
stand.
But
Milan shall stand.
Milan shall stand. Milan holds. Milan is not yet lost. The Milanese broke before Milan did. Stuff like that. You know.
Milan lives and marches on.
Right. Astrakhan, more like Abracon. Uh, most people won't even get that reference. Prosperity and devastation. In Project Caesar, this is a single value in a location ranging from minus 1,000 to plus 1,000. Oh.
It's
Okay.
100, not 1,000.
Minus 100 to plus 1,000. You heard it here.
You're
Plus
welcome.
1,000
You're
prosperity.
welcome. You're welcome, gamers. I had to correct him.
It's
Joffrey spreading misinformation again.
again. No. It's not dev. It's not development,
Yeah.
Trig. It's devastation. This is prosperity and devastation. So it's kind of a system that already exists in EU4, but yeah, no, we do not have negative development.
Devastation versus prosperity.
Mhm.
Those are two systems.
While devastation scales in EU4, prosperity is either you have it or you don't.
Yes.
So it does accumulate over time, but yes, once it goes below 100, you lose all the benefits of it. Correct.
Yeah.
This is a lot better in my opinion. I definitely like much more the fact that it is on, yet again, a scale. I really like these shifting things I'm very curious what to find out, as we will soon, I'm sure, find out what sort of things affect this. Prosperity represents how prosperous and resourceful a location is. A prosperous location increases development over time. Prosperity will slowly rise unless different negative circumstances reduce it. So the default is to go up. Default number go up. Go line. There is no direct way for the player to increase prosperity, but having a peaceful country will have it increase slowly over time. Aww, just hanging out. This is the building tall meta, guys. I keep telling you. Building tall meta. The Po Valley. Just sit in the Po Valley. Dev. That's all you gotta do. Milan can strong. Prosperity is 25% in Kalmar, and it goes up very slowly. Oh, satisfaction. yeah, as with most things and everything really in EU5, there's no direct way to make something better, be better that you want to be better, but there's ways that you influence it because yet again, it's a case of the game makes you ask questions and then you choose how you're going to answer them. So, what do I need to spend? What am I going to spend my resources on? Well, let's think. Satisfaction in this location is this. And it has all of these effects from being this much satisfied. And now we're seeing yet another reason why you might want to look into making solving your satisfaction in a region being the option you want. Because people are unhappy, makes prosperity go down. So oh well, I guess if you want to be a hardline country that's like, no, everyone's got to convert their religion, you've got to convert your culture. I guess that doesn't it's not the best for short-term prosperity at least. Hello, Rain. Good to see you. Good to see you. Learning about the leaf. Yes. So, free subjects. I guess that's a law. So along with market fairs, these are theoretically laws that are passed that make
Yes.
it go up. The base value.
Actually, I think free subjects is one of the bars where it goes from either free subjects to serfdom.
That would make sense as a societal value. Yeah, it's just that normally societal values are a one word term, so that's why it's a little confusing for me. But you're probably right about that.
Not all of them are.
Mhm.
Most of them are.
Yeah, the base is just by default it goes up by 10%. 0.1%. 10% every
Now,
month.
yeah. 10% a month would be a bit much.
No. Yeah, satisfaction makes it go down. Now, the results. What are the results of 25%? Migration attraction goes up by a little bit, and it's a so yeah, it's also very easily applicable to the percentage number. I do like that as well. This is something that we've seen a lot of in EU5 so far, that the results, like the bonuses and penalties you get, scale in very direct and readable ways to the percentage when it's a percentile thing like this. So 25%, it's 0.02. So yeah, if you get to 30%, then you get an extra 0.03% boost. So, yeah, I don't know how good this is, but at 100%, you'd be have at 100% prosperity, you'd have a 0.1 more migration attraction. But monthly development, very tiny increase, very tiny number. Again, don't know exactly what this is, but along with population growth, it's the same amount of population growth as the attraction as well. And life expectancy goes up.
Now, that's not what I originally thought it was. It's not for the pops, it's for characters present in those locations. However, since life expectancy is a modifier, that means we can apply it to characters that would live longer.
Well, okay.
You
On
hope.
this
You'd hope.
We'll see how janky Paradox's interactions with.
yeah, this theoretically
Set that
means
up.
that since life expectancy is a modifier that you can scale, that theoretically we'll be able to do things like is culture characters live longer because even if it's like as long as you can assign stuff like that to the characters, that's okay because when it comes to a population basis, you don't need to necessarily worry about that abstraction so much as you can dismiss it more along the lines of, oh, the elves, they live 500 years on average, but they don't reproduce very fast, so it just averages out to the same as humans anyway. You can just say like, it averages out the same anyway. Who cares if it doesn't work? You're a little busy right now, but you promised to watch the VOD. Well, good. You better. Bye. Freaking loser. Always better. It's a good thing. The only reason that I can forgive him is that he asks and apologizes. He asks for forgiveness and apologizes every time he misses a stream. So it's a good thing he stopped by this time. Mm-hmm. When you see this later, you have a good day too, right? Whenever you see this. Alright. Marcus Fairs is a nice privilege to give. Okay. So it's not a privilege. It's a it's not a privilege or market fairs is a privilege. Free subjects is probably the. Yes, we decided to start early because we're cool and Dark and I are going to want to play Space Marine later. So more time, more time. People are around. Let's go, go, go. Chop, chop, chop. But so dark was the life expectancy not but being what you thought it was what made you go darn, or is it something else?
No, that was it. Because there's a Johan will elaborate on this bit later on. So I just took a screen cap of that comment and sent it to Dark. He
Oh,
was like,
oh,
darn.
I see. Okay. Devastation represents how ravaged a location is. It includes burnt down farms and abandoned villages. The biggest source of devastation are blockades and occupation. Can't stay long. Thank you for stopping by, Arnazir. Hello and Adonaic back to you. Yes. You have a good day as well. It has a rather huge impact on a location over time, reducing how much food and raw materials it produces, and the population as well over time. If you have high devastation in any location in a province, the Age of Renaissance has an advance that enables a focus on recovering devastation in a province until it has fully recovered. Hmm. Ideally, you do not want any sort of war or conflict happening on your own lands. I can definitely be seeing then why you might be hesitant to allow someone to march through your lands. Like, oh, they want to fight a war on the other side of you. Well, the problem with them wanting to fight a war on the other side of you, if you give them access, is that now both parties, both your friend and your enemy, may well be fighting in your lands and reducing your development. Hello, Armas, as well. Good to see you. Yes, yes.
That historically
So,
was a very big issue in the 30 Years' War. I mean, the Margravate of Brandenburg wasn't even involved for much of the 30 Years' War, but it still lost, I believe it was over 50% of its population simply because of the various armies pillaging and moving through its territory.
Hmm. Well, maybe it's best if you just don't let them in. Yeah. Just stay out, please. Do not fight in my lands and steal my food. Because even if I'm not involved, you may as well be involving me that way. All right, devastation 10%. So it's still, yeah, it goes up. So it gets yeah, it's still calculating as on the case of going negative means getting devastation and going up. Yeah. So here the term it just changes from saying devastation is 10% to prosperity. Yeah. All right. So here we have that's a pretty fast decline. Certainly fast compared to how fast it goes up. That's rough. Just being occupied means that yeah, in five years of occupation, you'll be at 10% devastation, and this isn't even that's not even accounting for how much like battles and stuff. I'm sure that battles happening there or armies foraging for food will make it go up exponentially faster, which is quite terrifying to think about. So it being devastated also increases the base value for growth. So, okay, the more devastated it is, the more quickly it is able to recover from it. That makes sense as well. Oh, not enough for you to go into negative life expectancy. Oh well, so sad. but 10% causes a full 5% pop promotion speed. So at 100%, you will then have 50%. You will be 50% slower for pops to promote. So if you have a war-torn land where the whole nobility class is just dead because France got all of its nobles shot to death in the Hundred Years' War, but with longbows.
French Revolution. Kill all the nobility.
Well, that was an active choice instead of it being a case of like Hundred Years' War.
It was an active choice on the side of the English.
This is also true. but hundred years more English shoot all the French nobility. All those devastated provinces are going to take ages to recover any of those nobles, and of course, migration attraction goes down. People are going to want to leave. Raw materials go down. That's another 50% drop. Population growth as well. That's
Bad. That's a whole 1%, whereas
Yeah.
the gain is 0.02 for 25%.
0.02 boost for being a 25% prosperity.
A little bit of devastation. Just tanks.
Max
That's
prosperity.
10% That's 10% devastation. That's a 25% prosperity.
At max prosperity, you will get 0.1.
0.
Yeah? Oh no. 0.08, you're right. Yeah.
It depends on if the next decimal point is cut off or not. It could be 0.025 or it could just be 0.02. It's not that big of a deal. But essentially, it's a lot. You gain a lot less pop growth from prosperity than you lose from devastation.
Yeah, all the bonuses from prosperity are minuscule in comparison. I mean, the life expectancy is a large number. Like a whole 2 is a large number, but it's a relatively speaking small gameplay factor. It's like, well, okay, your capital is prospering, so you and all your cabinet have a higher life expectancy. Good, I guess. That's cool. But here, a mere 10%, and suddenly, 5% less development growth, or your development goes down by 5%. Oh no, we'll see development later. Food production goes down, horrible again, and then the population, that is such a big one. The population going down, because population is gonna be such a big deal in here. Not ideal. Let's end this war ASAP. God damn. And it keeps going down because it's occupied. Oh my god. If some backwater, so like you take over a fort, you just siege a fort, and that will, when you siege, and so, hello Evie, sorry to ignore you. Yes, hello. Don't worry about being late. I don't mind if you just catch the VOD. I won't hunt you down. But if you siege some random fort in your enemy's country, on the border fort, siege a border fort in the enemy's country, and it just occupies all of the counties in the area because of that. Those random shitter locations that are in that region getting occupied for free like that, for the duration of the war, are getting this stacking every month, 2%.
Yes.
Every month.
Devastation is bad.
You will get so many counties going to 100% by the end of a war.
Don't get full siege.
Almost like that's what happens.
And if you are gonna lose, maybe it's better to cut your losses and surrender rather than let them full siege you down.
Please, yeah. Please. Holy shit.
God, yeah, this is the equivalent of like a Vic 2 death war sort of thing where you just occupy the enemy
and just destroy their pop.
To destroy their economy and, destroy their industry. Yeah. You just stay occupied even though you completely won the war.
Yeah. And that's why MP servers put rules against that, because it's so bad.
Yeah. It literally ruins a nation for the next 20 to 30 years minimum.
Yeah, I think that there's going to be nation ruining rules to a large degree in regards to this. Yeah. Oh boy, that's gonna be. You're gonna be so easily able to. 1 year, 1 year of just occupation, nothing else. 1 year of just being occupied, 24%. Just 1 year. And this is already insane. These bonuses. Everyone's gonna leave. If you end a war with 100% devastation, your whole country, that whole population, that location, is gonna starve and leave. They're all gonna be just showing up again. They're gonna go to Milan. All of your French peasants are just gonna be living in Milan now, and they're gonna be happy. They're gonna be learning to read and shit too. It's crazy. Dark is gonna be
Can't
having
wait
the
to
time
see
of
the
his life.
devastation from the Black Death.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh.
Imagine they might have a modifier for a sort of bounce back after the Black Death.
Like CK does? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I mean,
Would they?
they have a
I'd
bounce
be
back
very
mechanic here.
surprised.
They've got a
I'd be
bounce back.
very surprised.
Even just normal devastation is a bounce back mechanic for due to
No, I
devastation
mean,
here. Get boost.
not just to get rid of the devastation, but to help make up for like the pop loss. Like new space, now people will grow faster for a bit.
I kind of I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of ways that could theoretically be done. Because it might even just be a basic in-game mechanic for there is this much population cap due to buildings and such, and the food infrastructure. So it's, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. But okay. The one concept that has been in many of our previous grand strategy games is development. It has been used for various things, but in Project Caesar, development represents how cultivated the land is, and how much it is used by the pops living there. The higher the development, the more people can live there, and the more it can be exploited. As mentioned in earlier Tinto talks, this is a value that the player mostly only has indirect control over, as most modifiers in this. Yeah. But you can have your cabinet working on improving development in an entire province at once. I'm sorry, you're talking about all this. Okay. I mean, it depends. I suspect a lot of the time I'm just going to be on the cultural conversion one. I suspect a lot of the time I'm just going to be on culture conversion, especially when you look at France and how many smaller cultures there are. We don't know yet enough of the specifics on how cultural acceptance and such works, so maybe France, like with all those brother cultures or whatever they end up calling it, maybe they're more easily able to tolerate those. And it's not as much of a problem. Who knows? But if it's even remotely a problem to have that many cultures, if it's like Imperator Rome, where the more accepted cultures you have, the more difficult it is. Nah, I'm having all my cabinet ministers on cultural assimilation instantly, and they're just gonna stay there.
Joffrey will make the entire world Albertan.
It's true.
A fate worse than death.
Alberta bound, Alberta bound, it's good to be.
That's a fate I would wish on
Alberta
nobody.
bound. Or in this case, Blackfoot strong. It's gonna happen.
No, I'm pretty sure they're not even going to include it.
Not even as a society.
Don't feel like that. Don't feel like that. Don't. Let me scooch in. All right. So, development 17 in Kalmar. How does this? Does this? This just goes up. There's no like, oh, it goes between these numbers. So like from 0 to something.
I believe so, yeah.
All right.
I mean, you're either developed or you're not.
Yeah.
Even if
yeah.
you did like ruin a place, it's not gonna be much worse than it was if it's just all natural.
I didn't mean like negative. I just meant like from 0 to 100. This isn't a case of you are 100% developed. This is a just number 17, and it can go up theoretically beyond 100, for example.
I doubt it's
Oh.
beyond 100.
You doubt it would go higher than that?
100 just seems like a logical stopping point.
Development helps a fair bit in improving the quality of a location, but all of these values here are still constantly being balanced. Okay. So the prosperity, of course, making it go up. Develop province, that's the character like the cabinet character doing it, I guess. Woods decreases it. Yeah, because terrain effects. Coastal makes it go up though, by half as much as woods brings it down.
Yeah, because you have
Yeah.
fish, which is a reliable source of food even during times of normal famine due to bad harvests. Easier access to trade.
You say please don't be a 0 to 100 dev score because that's so dumb. But yeah, I don't personally have much of an opinion on whether it stops at 100 or not. I I suspect it isn't though, is the catch, because Kalmar. Okay, let's look at this. Kalmar's over
They
there
already
somewhere.
said that it was a minus 100 to plus 100.
That's
Develop.
prosperity.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Development. They haven't said anything about that. At least I don't think so. But
And I'm fairly confident there's not negative dev.
I wonder what
Yeah, that'd be
Milan
really
is a big question for me. Knowing what Milan's development is at game start is a big thing. Like, okay, there's like Kalmar's in here somewhere. I don't know, southern Sweden. Um, that's 17 development at game start.
Kalmar's one of the brighter parts on this game. It's game.
Skate. Okay. So there is, in my opinion, no way that then you have these like brightest spots, like up here in China. You have some insanely
So-
bright stuff there.
So it's probably based like EU4, where it does dev'd province is the brightest green on the map, even if it's not 100.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, that's what I mean. Yeah, but
Probably
I
based on the average.
I imagine it is based on the average, but I don't think it's going to stop at 100 because this is the amount brighter that this is from this other stuff. There's no way that there's like a place that's like really high up. There's no way that there's something that's like 70 development already and it's only going to get 30 more the rest of the game. It's just going to be at max, because this game is going to take place over such a vast period of time. I am sure that development is going to be meant to go up by wide margins. But I'll have another. I'll have to take another like an actual look at what these modifiers do. What is 100 heaven minus 100 surface of Pluto? No. It doesn't go negatives. It doesn't go negative development. Okay. What does it actually do? The development of 17 gain. Oh, here we have the Scandinavians being like, oh, this is how you pronounce it. Yes, okay, fine, Armos.
Skåne.
This is what I get. All the Scandinavians
As
joining
an
my server.
American, I'm gonna call it Skane.
Skåne. Skåne.
I've heard it pronounced by too many of my Swedish friends to not be able to do it.
I miss Bremerod. All right. So maximum RGO size, 3K. 3K what? What is the size?
People.
I get
How many people are able to work in the RGO? So how many people are able to work in a gold mine? Maximum.
and that's without that. Okay, that's the base amount because theoretically you can also make buildings that will increase the number.
Seems to be, yeah, and it seems to be 200 per point.
Okay, yeah. And build buildings cost. Oh. Okay, Dark. This is where I'm starting
that's
to.
That's not gonna go over 100. They wouldn't
Okay.
give you something like that. No, It's going to cap at 100.
Yeah.
They're not going to give you the
What's the-
opportunity for free buildings.
What's the math on this then? Is that
Just math. 17, 14.25. That means it's probably 0.25 per. Yeah, 0.25 per. That means it caps at 25.
yeah.
25% if it goes to 100.
Which sounds about right to me. I'm starting to. I think I agree with you now. It is probably going to be up to 100 at max.
At the very least, there's no way they're letting you reach 400, which is where it would become free.
Yeah. This also gives you migration attraction. Distance cost to capital.
Terms of control, I imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Okay, Vector, I can hear myself echoed through your microphone. Sorry, I don't know. Specifically me too. Just Dark is too soft spoken.
I am a Chad.
Mhm. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else that distance cost to capital would be referring to. I'm pretty sure that's just because they did the math on control and talking about how far you go, how far it travels, costing per tile it moves to. But population capacity at 17, it goes up by a full 85%. So every little bit of development is a big deal when it comes to population capacity. Huh. And I'm sure that population.
Looking at life expectancy, I'm guessing that when it says +1, that's actually plus 1.7. They're just not showing you a decimal, and it's 0.1 per.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if it went over 100? And you could get more than 10 years for them.
Oh my god, so much life. Life.
That's not gonna happen.
Fine. Maximum stockpile capacity. So, food during siege. Construction speed also goes up. Supply limit? But I imagine the population capacity, I'm sure that there's some sort of scaling modifier on population growth per the capacity of the location. Probably something there as
As you
well.
get closer to it, growth slows.
Yeah, and the less people there are, that probably will increase it somehow. Maybe. I don't know. The woods probably has some other advantage. Oh, they're being like, yeah, listen, it may be the only negative you see here, but there is other things that are good about it. Trust. I guess the
No.
fact that you can
Deforest
cut
the
wood
whole
from there.
world.
All right. Roads. Very much looking forward to this. Roads. We have had roads in many of our former games, and this game will also have roads. Wow. In Project Caesar, this includes one of the most in-depth system of roads we have ever made. A road is basically a connection between two land locations that reduces the proximity calculations from 40 down to 20. Most settled nations start with the capacity to build gravel roads, but there are three advances in later ages that will introduce new types of roads that can be built. Those roads will reduce proximity further and increase movement speeds for armies. Now, this may sound like it could be a lot of micromanagement, and if we used the ways that railroads were built in Victoria too, it would be so, or how roads were built in Imperator. But we have a few easier ways to build or upgrade road networks. Okay, so what I'm imagining then, I will say in a second, but I'm assuming what this is a case of is they have a system for you just opening up a window and it's like listing all of your important locations, all of your like town or higher, yeah, all of your locations that are considered towns or cities, for example, and then it allows you to just click a button to then build a road network from your capital to that spot. But okay, here we have Kalmar selected, and we're looking at building a road to Idra, which technically is in Norway at the start of the game. Technically, it's at Norway at the start of the game. You can always build a road into the location of any country that has a positive opinion of you. So road networks can and will be connected for trade. Okay. So you want better access to trade from someone, and you can actively choose to build roads into their country for them. This is some serious, I'm totally not preparing to attack you stuff going on here. I'm definitely not planning on attacking you. I'm just building some good roads for the sake of trade.
I'm just establishing a connection between our countries so that it's already pre-built for when I take over. I mean, oops.
Did I say that? Cool that it costs in gold of buildings are not flat. Yeah. It's cool that the development affects the amount that buildings cost. So you will have to you'll be looking around and really considering where you want to build stuff based on that because obviously you need to build stuff in a county for its development to go up. But if stuff is already developed, then it's cheaper to continue building there. So you really got to work for it if you want to turn some backwater village into a prosperous trade hub. Ain't just gonna happen. The green locations are locations you can build to a road.
Yeah.
The green
from Calmer too.
So, just had to send my dad a text. It's the green locator. The green locations are locations you can afford to build a road from Kalmar to at the moment. Okay, so you will click on the location you want to build the road from. It's a little more intuitive than what I was describing. I was thinking of it like an all roads lead to Rome situation.
You're not just gonna plop a road down in every province.
You prefer like Mayo and taxes, where the more developed the location is, the next construction becomes more expensive to build. Well, Gamalt, I am sure that if you continue to stack buildings, the next building will become more expensive just from like the tier of building, if that makes sense. Because it's not so much.
The buildings are more expensive, but development refers to things like intercity roads, bridges, infrastructure that would make the construction process easier. It's a lot easier to build a building when people are bringing along all the stone and lumber across a nice clean road rather than across some bumpy dirt road that'll constantly break their wagon's wheels.
Yeah. This is just all anything you think of when you imagine infrastructure. I'm like even stuff like wells, like a well or a bath house, maybe even. I don't know. Just anything you when you imagine you look at a place where people live and it's like what is infrastructure that makes just living here easier? That's the sort of thing they're talking about. What you're thinking of is how much you've already built up the city. And yes, I imagine that the more times if you build a church there. It's going to be more expensive now to build more churches, for example, or however that works. I imagine that there's a way that it just, the more stuff you build, the more expensive it gets to build things. But the more you build things, the more your development, your build cost, the more your development will go up. The more you build, the more you're developing the place, and the more developed the place is, the cheaper it is to build things. Heh. It's all convoluted. The white outlined locations are the proposed path. So Kalmar down in Skåne, Skåne, in Skåne, 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 Skimmy Bob. They will build the white outlines. The white outline locations are the proposed path. So yeah, it is everything that's in between here. And what's the yellow striped locations? Okay, they already have roads. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's handy. And building roads is one of the most important and fun parts of the control growing gameplay loop. I am sure. This sounds very interesting to me. I imagine it will be quite engaging to as you're trying to further develop your country. Like, all right, I need to get a road out to here, or increase the amount of harbors, because you can with better ports make up for not having the better roads. So I'm sure that Kalmar can handle not having a road at the beginning, because it's from the harbor they can get to Stockholm uh, easier than a lot of other places. But at the end of the day, uh, with the they own Skåne, um, and this region gets farther away from Stockholm, so eventually you want to build. I know there's like bailiffs and stuff that you can do to try and exert control better in further areas. So theoretically, you might be like, oh, okay, Kalmar is going to be one of these bailiff locations. So you need a road, and then continue to build the road network out. Stuff. It's interesting to imagine that. But let us continue along. Ooh, piracy. Piracy and privateers. To clarify here, a privateer is a pirate sponsored by a specific country. The ability to sponsor privateers has several different ways that it is unlocked. First of all, every nation has access to an advance in the age of absolutism called Letter of Marque. Okay, so late game, everyone will get the Letters of Marque. That makes sense. And that reduces the cost for privateers while also making them sturdier. There are also unique advances in the Age of Discovery for some countries that will allow them to hire privateers. While if you pick the diplomatic focus in the Age of Renaissance, you have the possibility to recruit privateers that early. The Age of Renaissance is the one you start in, I think, right? Because the Age of Traditions is the old one. Now we're in the Age of Renaissance. Next one's Discovery. Yeah. So there's some people that will get privateers just as an option, one of their unique for their country discoveries. They'll unlock it in the Age of Discovery, so the second age. But if you choose diplomacy at the beginning of the game, diplomatic focus at the very beginning of the game, then you will have the possibility to recruit privateers even earlier than that. But I wonder how useful are the pirates? Like how valuable is this? Sponsoring a private, I guess you can reduce people's ocean control. That could be a good thing. Sponsoring a privateer can be done in an area and costs about 250 sailors per privateer and 10 sailors each month they're active. So it costs your naval manpower. Okay. Depending on its current strength, a privateer / pirate in an area, depending on its current strength, can reduce the maritime presence of all non-friendly countries in all sea zones in that area. This hurts relations and will give them a way to get a casus belli on you, though. You know, I can then definitely imagine this being a place where if it's farther out and it's harder for you to try and get control, like naval control over the region, that you might want to just throw a bunch of money at privateers to try and reduce their abilities there. Try and get them to give up, kind of thing. So how do you fight privateers? Well, you have a fleet of ships in any location in that sea area, and they will actively reduce the capacity of those pirates. Galleys are a bit better than heavy ships at hunting pirates, but light ships are by far the best at dealing with pirates, whereas a single light ship is about 10 times as effective as a heavy ship at the start of the game. Okay. Yeah. Light ships just are the most maneuverable, so you're going to hunt down the cheeky boys. Makes sense. I'm very curious to see how practically maritime presence and all that works, because you can use any old ship to do it, at least to a degree. Like how many times will you be in a situation where someone's in an inland sea and they just recruit galleys until the late game, when they're just not useful anymore? Swedish privateers. Look at this icon they've got. Skull and crossbones. Kingdom of Sweden, power 61%. The power changes by -23. Value. can't afford the sailors and harassment from navies. Okay. So yeah, they're just Sweden's just out of sailors. There's no sailors to send to the privateers, so their own navy is really hurting, let alone the privateers. I wonder how much money it costs you to hire these, or if it costs you any at all. Maybe it's just a cost of like it didn't say money. Sponsored. I don't know. It talks about sponsoring them, but it's not saying if that actually costs money. It might just be a case of, oh, you've got spare sailors. Go off. Go off and hunt these people. There was a situation in the later half of the 16th century where piracy will start to grow in certain areas of the map. Pirates also have a chance to spawn from locations with pirate covens. Oh, pirate covens. Okay, these are buildings that peasants will build in coastal locations where your control is very low. Is that so? Stop dying, Evie. Jeez. At least have the decency to not die right now. God. Privateers. Privateer contract. Okay, like that makes the estate, whatever estate you're giving this to. Oh, the burgers. Okay, 10% more satisfaction, but 25% more power. Costs for hiring privateers goes down, and the maintenance for them goes down as well. Very tempting. But the peasants will just build these. Huh. Peasants will just build these. Yeah. So, yeah, I've got. There's a couple countries in my planned fantasy mod that I'm gonna want to make deal a lot with privateers and such, because there are, in fact, a couple countries that just straight up are pirate countries at the game start. So, yeah, there's definitely going to be some people there that I'll make that will have game start good privateer things and expand on that later. But in regards to this, they've talked about maybe making building based country instead of army based countries. They've in addition to army based countries, they've debated about making navy based countries, which would basically just be specifically for a pirate country, which would be really cool. It would be very cool if they end up doing that. And hello, Icy. Hello, the vegan. No, that's it. Aw, I was getting so into it. I was getting
It is
so
over.
into it. It's over. I was so there. I was so there. Stay tuned.
He's so
as
close.
Next week we'll focus on conquest, integration, and casus belli. Ooh, I always hook
Yeah.
you right in though.
Stay with.
I'm looking forward for that.
I'm still there. I'm still with it. Oh my gosh, I want this. I want that. Conquest, integration, and casus belli.
want that.
Gib it me. I want to know like what is it in EU4? The strategy of conquering. You conquer a bunch of land and then you release a subject there. We know you're able to release subjects in this game too. Like just create. We know you're able to just straight up create new vassals. You can make up a new tag. So how does that work? Like what reason do you have to like can you just as you conquer a bunch of new land that doesn't have a tag there already, can you just do you just make up your own tag for it? And is there a reason you don't want to do that? What are the benefits and the negatives to it? I cannot wait either. But I don't know, Evie. You said you're gonna die. You're dying right now, so I don't know if you're gonna make it to 2034 when the hit game Project Caesar, the Reconquista edition comes out.
March of the Eagles too.
Yes. Yes. And yes, Darkest and Vector are here. You are correct. Now.
Dev post. Dev post.
Dev
Dev post.
post.
Dev post.
Dev post. Oh. You'll get an early beta, yeah? Is it because you're a beta? Beta. Ha!
SMH.
It will bring new prosperity if we do not get piracy. Peth. Hopefully this game won't turn out to be devastating. Ah, I see. I see. EU5 will have prosperity. EU5 will have prosperity if it doesn't have pirate issues. I see. Yes. Very interesting. Interesting statement indeed. Probably 2056 until the game is actually good. Yes, you're right. You're right because it'll come out in 2034 and it won't be playable until uh um March of the Eagles 2. Sorry. Yes, I was a little confused for a second there. March of the Eagles 2. Yep. This topic, can we have an option to remove built roads? Yes, yes. I need to. Well, oh, okay. He's talking about like, oh, the AI has built really stupid roads, but here I'm thinking like someone's built a road into your country, and I'm like, no, I don't want your road here. I'm gonna destroy your road. Uh, in theory, it could be added, but removing roads is rather time consuming in real life. Yeah. Well, does it cost money to maintain the road? I don't know. So with devastation, it could be possible to turn a metropolis into small towns, kind of like how Rome used to have millions of people and it turned into a couple thousand people. Yes, but it's not very nice. Well, okay. Yeah, it's possible. It'll happen, but it's not very nice. Johan's saying this as Johan's saying this as if it's a choice. Like, yeah. Oh. I mean, it wouldn't be very nice of you, as if it's my choice to not have that happen when I'm playing as the Pope and I'm being invaded while the Black Death is happening. CK4, indeed, yes. Dealing with pirate codes.
Yeah, they've given up on Victoria 3, so they're moving on to Victoria 4 already.
I'd believe it.
That's coming soon.
I'd believe it at this rate. There's so many people, so many content creators that are coping. Like, oh, come on, guys! It's like, it's okay now. I believe in the bright and prosperous future of Victoria. No,
It's
you
not.
don't. No, you
Every
don't.
nation still plays the same.
It ain't gonna get better. The game's fundamentally broken, and that's why they're trying so hard with EU5. I mean, March of the Eagles 2, by showing us all this stuff so early to be like, please, we're not fucking this up again, right, guys? I see that if we fix support for Navy-based countries, this is so they are actually looking into it. They're just not certain how to make it function, but they're
Imagine
cooking.
Ocean Man being a one boat Navy-based country.
I am so ready, Dark. Give me Ocean Man, the one, just army of one dude. Ocean Man. Take me by the hand. That is. I would genuinely make. Oh, there would genuinely just be countries I would make that are navy based. Then that are just the fucking lobster men. The lobster men are on the march. Here we go. Lobster, go brr. Dealing with pirate coves in the Caribbean. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to theoretically doing that. Oh, okay, you will, yeah. You will have the pirate coves popping up, but it's a question of whether or not Navy-based countries can exist, which I hope they do. The bald man has officially lost it. Bold of you to assume I ever had it to begin with.
Upper, you can't just say that. I was going to make that joke.
I am well versed in the ways of self-deprecating humor. I'm sorry, Vector. So why would you not just build a road on every province? Do they cost money to maintain? Time and gold is a huge reason. That's not clarifying if it costs maintenance, but time. I guess if you're building the road there, that means that that is what the location is building? Probably. It's the amount of time that takes instead of like you could be spending that time and money on other stuff. I don't know if it's going to cost maintenance though. We'll see. Imagine if they have like no, they probably don't cost upkeep in this case. No, I'm thinking about it because they wouldn't have them be like, oh, they need a production method. Yeah, which is fine. I don't care much at that point. Uh, shouldn't devastation and prosperity also affect taxes and production? Devastation has a negative impact. Yeah. If I build a road into another country, how is the price calculated? You pay. Imagine being like, listen, I'm building it in your country, so we need to split the difference, okay? I'm building this road for you, so can we like you work something out? I'm sure that
We're
would be
gonna
a thing in
build a road,
multiplayer,
and
though.
we're gonna build a road, and we're gonna make Norway pay for it.
Mm-hmm. The plan. Isn't Norway a subject of Sweden or something?
Yes, they are in a personal union at game start,
Oh,
so
okay.
not quite a subject.
Yeah.
But
Not a subject, so per se, but yeah. They are jointly rule. It's weird. It's really weird. Okay. Seeing the Baltic so developed compared to other parts of Europe. Oh, it's a bug. What the? Let me see this now. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I didn't see it. Livonian order popping off. Look at Riga go.
Yeah,
Riga's
that's
more
way
developed
too
than
high.
Constantinople.
Yeah, well. To
Oh,
be fair, this
that's
is
the
post
baby.
Fourth Crusade, so Constantinople's not doing so well.
Yeah, at this point, Constantinople is worse than that's worse than your average Italian city of note. God, Italy is gonna be crazy. No
For
wonder
the first
Naples
10
is a
years,
strong power. But yeah, then it's just Milan. It's all Milan and Verona after that.
as long as it's historical.
I am so down to just take the reins of Naples in this game. Let's go, Dark. 1v1 me. Milan
For your
versus
first game,
Naples. Let's go. Let's go. First game.
your
First game.
first game.
First game.
All right,
First
add it to the
playthrough.
list.
Yep. Then again, if I played Naples, I couldn't swap to Waldensian. So that would suck. I should play Provence or Viennois. I said Viennois already though. Build walls and make Tlaxcala pay for it. Yes. Yes! Force the Tlaxcalans to build the walls of Tenochtitlan. Ah, please, please let us see. Please let us see Mesoamerica. I need to see what it's like. Your internet went down.
We're not gonna see anything.
We're gonna see anything because there ain't gonna be nothing in the Americas. It's gonna be tragic. Nah.
It's gonna be
Mesoamerica is gonna have
ages.
settled countries.
Oh yeah, for
Mesoamerica
sure,
and
but it's
the
gonna be.
Inca.
It's gonna take so long though.
Yeah, we're gonna see Alberta first though.
We're getting
Surely.
India Friday.
Surely, right?
Now they might go to either Southeast Asia afterwards or Tibet. Although they might decide to go all the way back to the Golden Horde after India. Who knows?
I don't think they're gonna. I think they're scared of the Golden Horde. I don't think they're gonna. I think they're gonna show us the whole step at once. It's gonna be a late thing. They're gonna go India, then Tibet, then the step. Yeah, I think they'll show us all the step then at once, and then they'll go China down through Southeast Asia. And then from Australia, once Australia will be the last thing in the old world we see, if you can even call it that, and the old world, and then we'll jump over to Northwest America, Cascadia, and see Alberta. Surely, Surely we'll see Alberta. Berta! My baby boys. Prefer important places to have high development. Does development mainly influence? Yeah, important places of significance are highly developed. I don't know, like, what else are you going to say? Privateering can be pretty strong in EU4 if you throw your entire navy into trade nodes. You don't use your warfare fleet to privateer in Project Caesar. Yeah, it's a separate thing where you hire privateers. Can we mod new road types other than the aforementioned? Yes. Heck yeah. All right, Vector, surely we now have some sort of magic road, right? The elves have
I have an idea.
magic road.
Dragon Fire Road.
I have an idea. We can put a steam engine on it and call it a railroad.
What novel fantasy.
Oh! Oh! A railroad! Yo! And it could cost like iron. Yo.
Or we can make a road out of this material I call asphalt. And it sounds really good, but actually it's going to be
produce asphalt, and why does it require buttocks?
And it's going to be really shit and constantly get a bunch of potholes, breakdown because your tires are getting torn up.
What are these tires you speak of?
They're made of this mythical material called rubber.
Is this
It's magic.
See, where does this? This shows up before the asphalt in the road types, right?
Yes. You get rubber. Don't worry. Rubber comes from certain trees.
Holes with pot in them? Heck yeah! Oh my gosh. An EU4 DLC did venture into coal mining and early steam industries. Yeah.
The Californian and then.
If EU4 doesn't include EU5 doesn't include steam like trains, which it won't. I imagine it will at some point. I bet they're going to go into that at some point, the early industrial revolution. I mean, they're going to have coal just sitting around. Anyway. Devastation shouldn't increase just because a province is occupied. It should be a factor. Army stationed there. Okay, so, yeah. Yeah, those will be significant. Yeah. Things like armies being there, poor access to market goods. Oh, that's an idea, yeah. Battles being fought there. Yeah, I cannot wait to have my country's economy be ruined because someone decided to get their army snowed in my country. I'm going to be playing like Switzerland, and someone's going to get their army stuck in my country because the emperor decided to go to war, so everyone has free access through my country. So there's going to be some goon who is stuck in my country because they didn't finish marching through until the winter ended, so now they're stealing all of my people's food, and now there's no people left in the mountains.
Epic
games. Terrain development, yeah. Roads require goods. All right. Oh no, they do require maintenance. Yeah, okay. If they require maintenance, please let us stop paying for them. Because they're talking about removing roads, having the option to remove roads. I don't need to even then. If road maintenance is a thing, then I don't even need the option of I'm gonna remove the road. I'm gonna just stop paying for it. Because I don't. What if I don't have what if some dude built a road in my country and I don't want to pay for it anymore?
Embrace.
Sorry?
Industrial infrastructure decay by just deciding not to fund its maintenance.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What if I don't want to replace the gravel on this frickin' gravel road? The road's gone now. Who cares? What happens when the sponsor of privateers goes bankrupt? Become regular pirates, and they become regular pirates and they slowly disappear. Yeah, they don't really exist on the map. Everyone's mad. Everyone's mad that pirates don't exist as units on the map. go informative. Roman roads never decay. Screw you, Penzer. This is the secret technique. Yep. If you get ancient Roman technology again, you can build the unique kind of road, the Roman road, which never goes away, stays forever. I can actually think of a couple factions in the fantasy mod that would use that would have something like that theoretically. Could be interesting. Let's see, can some roads being already existing at game start? Yeah, there's gravel roads in many places, makes sense. You're not building them in friendly countries, you're connecting to them. Oh? Oh, so you don't build the road in someone else's country. You can connect to the border. Someone else has to choose, the other person needs to choose to connect said road to yours. That makes sense. You don't you don't build a road in a location, you build between locations. Yeah, I guess.
Oh, as in you don't just pick Stockholm and say, I want to build a road here. You pick, I want to build a road from Stockholm to Skåne.
Yeah, that makes sense. Right?
You looked confused, so I felt like I had to elucidate.
No, I'm just thinking. I'm in thoughtful mode. Scrunched face. Could peasants also build hideouts in locations with low control and just become bandits or supply nearby rebels? They do supply rebels. Okay. This yeah, this person has mentioned something that I very much was thinking about, the fact that because peasants in low control areas will create these pirate hideout buildings. So I definitely want to mod a thing where peasants in low control areas will create bandit camps then. Yeah. I do wonder if there's a way that you can cause building based countries to appear, because I really would like to make a situation where you can mod in a situation where you then, okay, there's low control in this area. This area is low control. It then, because it's got low control, spawns a bandit camp building, and then that bandit camp can, if you don't destroy it, create a building based country that owns it. That is a bandit group. And then these bandit groups could go and build more bandit camps in different countries. Just continue to spread worse control until you declare war on them. Swiss free peasants. Yes, the Swiss cantons. Yes, you're going to be able to play as a lot of different Swiss cantons, which is nice. The more trade you have going through an area, the higher the piracy. No. Roads are not in a location. Yeah, they're the connection between locations. Yeah, makes sense. About situations again, kind of curious. What is the longest situation in the game, and or that you guys are planning on adding? And are there situations that can stretch out for way too long for one reason or another? Hard to say. What? Why even respond? Hard to say. I want an answer. I want it to be like, yes, the Protestant Reformation because of this. Yes. So just understand, if I'm getting privateers from Diplo focus and Renaissance, if I'm getting privateers from unique focus in the Age of Discovery, if I'm getting privateers from a generic focus in the Age of Absolutism, do I get access to the same technology stat block for all of them? So the first one just unlocks it. The other ones also give small bonuses to it. Okay. I can't imagine it being. Surely it's not that useful to choose, because you're never going to be able to research everything. This is something we know. So like, surely there's no way that it's worth it for you to, in the age of Renaissance, be like, ah, yes, I in the age of Renaissance, I'm going to spend my time researching an advance instead of yeah, research an advance that will give me privateers one era early. Surely there's no situation
Yeah,
where it's like,
I'm also skeptical, but whatever. I suppose more power to him.
if it gives you if he gives you another bonus to it, because like the other two give you bonuses to privateers and probably other stuff as well. That means it's like, oh yeah, I can see why you'd want that. But this one in the Age of Renaissance is like later on, because later on as you advance in ages, earlier stuff gets cheaper. So you're more likely to be like, okay, no, I'll grab that from the earlier age. But this doesn't do you anything if you've already got the ones from the next era. So you wouldn't even want to go back and get it. I don't know. Mm. The last type of the roads is a railroad. Oh,
Epic.
I did not think that was going to be the case.
The timelines ahead of you.
Yeah, but I did not suspect at all that we were going to be able to get railroads. I'm very much here for it. Wow.
Now I'm intensely curious. When did the first railroad show up?
Late.
Chugga chugga.
Late. Choo choo, Armos. Yeah. I
The Middleton Railway in Liege, which was built in 1758, later became the world's oldest operational railway.
in where?
Leeds, the United Kingdom.
Leeds. Okay.
And in 1764, the first railway in America was built in Lewiston, New York. So they were actually a bit earlier than I thought they were.
That's definitely, in that case, yeah, it's definitely worth representing because there's some people that already had them.
I always thought them, turn of the 18th century, of the 1800s at the very earliest, and only becoming more commonplace in like the 18, 40s or 50s. But no, much earlier.
Yeah, there's going to be several.
These are super primitive trains.
But
I don't doubt it, but still.
But yeah, that's still.
If that's the sort of trains that they're talking about, then.
But that's still, yeah, several decades where someone could have these and play around with the bonuses from that. That's very much worth adding to the game as a result. Yeah, makes sense. Ambitious technocrat. I do love the idea of you playing someone who you actively rush down that research as early as possible.
They just really wanted to appeal to the Vicky players who only want to build trains.
I mean, they're all the Vicky players are just going to be playing EU5 when it comes out anyway, so because it looks like this game does everything you like, everything that I want in Victoria 3, all the stuff that I like about Victoria 3, this game just does in a more enjoyable way for me. So, yeah. The first steam engine was in the early 1800s, before they were drawn by horse. What? Well, what the heck does that mean? What? Steam train?
I'll show you what that means.
So it was a railway with a fucking horse drawing stuff on it?
Look at that beauty.
Oh, God. Huh. I did not anticipate that. Jeez. This is the peak of technology in EU5, boys. This is a bunch of people in a cart with a horse and your yeah. Jeez. Oh, I assume pirates do more than just reduce maritime presence, assuming that the Barbary pirates are represented with this system. I also assume then that the coastal raids done by the maritime Turkish Beyliks at the around the start date will be represented with a different system. We will talk about those later this autumn. Oh boy, time to talk about people capturing slaves. Wow, golly gee. Am I understanding roads correctly? Yep, you build them between locations. Estate privileges. They need to have some sort of effect, else there is no difference between them. Privileges mainly benefits the estate themselves, but you may feel forced to grant them. Yeah. You're happy with all the landless countries, characters, companies, gameplay? Yeah, it really does seem to be just a big old wave of landless stuff in Paradox games lately, which is very exciting to see. If privateers aren't represented outside of calculation, you can only privateer in your naval range. Okay. Will there be a counter to? Will there be a way to counter civilian casualties in a war? And the answer is just fight the war outside your own lands. The war's happening, don't lose. If you don't want to be taking civilian losses, just keep the enemy out. Can you build roads through passageway locations like the Sahara? Yeah. Huh. Didn't think about that. You could build a road through the Sahara. That is some serious Molly gameplay right there. Road through the Sahara.
Does not mean it is necessarily a wise investment.
It shall be done.
Saudi Arabia is building what, $1 trillion line city?
Yes.
In the middle of the desert?
They're building a line city. The Mansa is going to the Mansa is going to build a gold brick road through the Sahara. Now the gold brick road through the Sahara much less expensive. It's going to be just fine. Cabinet action for increasing development works at province level. Yeah, so you can have one member of your cabinet working on increasing development and it works over a whole province, which is handy. Life expectancy value affects characters in a location, not pops. The idea is that a minister living up in Versailles is likely to live a bit longer than one stationed in an undeveloped, war-torn frontier, as he has better access to things like diet and healthcare. Yeah. Yeah. Oh well. Time for more. Just to abstract it out. The elves live 500 years. The lobsters, I guess, live a long time too if they shed, as we discussed earlier today. But
The lobster people, long may we cook them with butter.
No. So evil. Pity the poor bastard worker who has to build a road through the Sahara. No, he is rightfully reimbursed. He shall be paid handsomely, but it is an essential job. How else am I supposed to conquer Morocco? I definitely want to play one of my first playthroughs. You know what? I think I'm ready to commit. First playthrough, guys, it's going to be Morocco. There, it's decided.
I thought you were going to say Mali.
I probably. I don't know. Molly's probably a jank first playthrough. Yeah, Molly's probably got a lot of stuff they got to worry about that's a little more complicated, but Morocco is pretty simple, I imagine. They have a lot of goods that are very useful, and they're pretty close together. But Molly is on its own out there, and it's got to worry so much about religious conversion, I imagine, as well. It could be fun either way, though. And hey,
I
my
mean,
first
the
Victoria
obvious
3.
solution is return back to the gods of your ancestors and reject Islam.
No, that is the wrong choice. Fool.
That is so
um,
true, Vector. You are
it
correct,
would
Vector.
certainly solve the religious minority issue for
Probably
everybody.
not, because I actually kind of doubt that, because they talk about, and whenever we see the places that they've worked on minority religions and just all like pagan faiths and such, they make so many of them. There's probably going to be a bajillion faiths in Africa. So if you try to convert back, like I doubt there's much of anything of what the people of Mali worship before Islam left is left. So that would be an interesting playthrough, I'm sure, but it would be tough, I'm sure, as well. Kind of want to try it though, now that I think about it. Persian region feels pretty shit on this map. Well,
I
sorry,
thought
it's
Persia was
mostly
fun,
mountain.
but oh yeah, it's because of
Mountains and desert.
the Mongol invasion. It sacked Persia pretty hard, and the
Oh,
Saudis are going to come through.
yeah. Even the place where like, because there's Mongols that live up in a city hereabouts. Yeah, that place is even terrible. I know. Yeah, Samarkand's like over there.
And
I think that's probably
Persia is
Samarkand.
more
That
decently developed.
that blob there is probably Samarkand though. That's it's doing pretty well, all things
But
considered.
Iran is better off than Anatolia. Anatolia is basically a hellhole.
And it's not getting any better anytime soon. Only a significantly worse. uh,
Everything got worse.
the Black
Timmy
Death.
is still coming.
The Black Death is going to run through the Turks, and that's going to be a pain. And all the Turks are going to be fighting each other.
I actually
And
don't think the Turks get hit that badly by the Black Death.
okay, we don't know how it works yet in that regard. We don't know how historically accurate it's going to play out. So. But I know for you and the Poles, you need to hope that it's historically accurate because you want Milan to stay strong and the Poles want Poland to be relevant. So,
Of course.
lesser Polish. Navy based tags. Would it be possible for us to have playable pirate nations? It would be possible, but they don't know if they're going to do it yet, I guess. Well, here's hoping that they add it, and if they don't add it, then maybe it's possible to just mod it in. Yeah,
I believe they said it wouldn't be.
huh?
They wouldn't be able to do a Navy-based country if they don't have it themselves.
Oh, that's right.
Without serious jank.
But he said that he might look into enabling it. So
Yeah, it's
Which
just
is what we need.
the case is that if they don't, then they don't. But if they do have it, then a lobter nation on the water exist. They sail about on the water in the lobter. I like the lobter. And they steal your stuff. Yeah. Are the roads visible on the map? Railways. Yes, you can see roads on both the flat paper map and the 3D environment. Show us the 3D! uh, build a road from the north of France to Marseille. There's about 20 roads, yep. How much of these are left? Oh, there's still... Okay, let me rush through these. We're starting to see repeats now. Locations road, get the bonuses. Yeah, it's the connections. Possibility to completely switch off the location province borders. Something affectionately named the naked map mode that shows the 3D world as God intended, free of borders and the other UI icons. Excellent. I can't wait to hover over something in the UI that says naked map mode.
how lewd.
First iteration of the development map mode. Yeah, right. Highest value. Consider be Beijing. Beijing is the highest developed place. Yeah, makes sense. Very, very impressive place by all accounts.
No, this is Chinese propaganda. The greatest place in the world was, I don't know, middle of
Milan.
nowhere, Canada.
Yes, yes. It's the location of Kai and I in Canada.
It's Saskatchewan. That's the greatest place in the world.
That is the best I've ever heard someone not from Canada pronounce it. That was good. Well, you don't count, Vector. You're basically Canadian. You're right there. You live right next to Saskatchewan. You can like that doesn't okay. You get it for free.
I had no idea that it was something people struggled with saying. That's why I'm baffled.
Yeah, people
I
can't
didn't know
say it.
this was a thing.
Yeah, people. Whenever I have Montanans up here, they call it Saskatchewan.
What?
Saskatchewan. It's just
I mean,
how
judge them too hard.
Saskatchewan.
Hey, it's just like how the Swedes say scone.
Yeah, exactly. They're wrong. No. Skåne. Jesus är Skåne. I'm hungry, Hershey's organ. I'm not sorry.
Armus.
Bruh! You should feel offended, Armus. The more Scandinavians I know, the more I like to make fun of the way they talk. Especially while listening while discussing paradox stuff. Yeah. Pavia's workload increases. It's fun because it's true. Pavia, yeah, exactly. Every single week, Pavia has more stuff to add to the Tinto maps. Yeah. Oh boy, timber won't be good for the development value of a bunch of places. Yeah. All right then. Anything on the off chance there's something else worth looking at here. Portrayal of France. Can't understand the reasoning behind this portrayal of France. What have you never heard of a robber baron by chance? Or the appanages? No? Ever? Weird mapping. Okay, maybe I'll look at that. Some dev responded to that. I actually like the game rule idea for Eastern Roman Empire, Byzantium, and the like. I'm probably going to use it. What? What?
They literally announced that that's a game rule.
Oh yeah.
Ago.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying I like that.
It's a part of the concept.
What I mean by I like the concept is that is a neat thing they've done. I like the idea of a game rule that changes names like that. That's kind of neat for something.
Okay. Sorry for jumping down your throat. There was a post on the Reddit that was bitching about the name Byzantium and why can't they call it Eastern Roman Empire. So I quick on the button there.
Okay. Okay. The other thing. Oh, where is it? Tinto. Okay. Saturday buildings. I think I'm gonna want to in future look at the Saturday buildings too. There's a lot of these buildings. I'll just look at the most recent one right now, but yeah, I want to actually make sure to discuss these more often because these have been pretty interesting as I've been looking at them on my own. Like the sergeantry and what is the other one? There's the cannon maker is another thing I thought was really interesting because the cannon maker here we see they've explained that the apple is a placeholder icon that shows that it can have multiple levels. You can just keep building more cannon makers in a given location. And these are the different production methods for the barrel, and these are the different production methods for the ammunition. And you need to pick one for each of these to get these cannons produced, which is so interesting to me that you have these like that. This is wood, iron, and metalworks. Then you have copper, tin, and metalworks, and you have these different options, and you get nothing from wooden cannons. Wood, iron, and metalworking, you get nothing, and you need to use up iron to do it too. But with copper and tin, if you have both copper and tin, you can actually make a decent amount.
Nobody made cannons out of wood.
Yeah, it sure turns out you don't want to do that. You don't really want to do that. Also, yeah, Armos, I do kind of agree that Eastern Roman Empire at this stage is a little silly. That they realistically should just call it. I kind of like the idea of Byzantium or just Roman Empire. But hey, at the end of the day, reform Rome. So they got to do it. They need to be able to press the funny button to reform Rome, even though Byzantium is still Rome in some sense. But yeah.
Yeah, in a very loose sense.
And then you get the sergeantry, which you can only this is something you only get bonuses from if you build it in your capital. And this gives you extra monthly manpower, requires a bunch of different things. There's a bunch of these buildings that give you there's a ton of these different buildings that I've seen which are only usable in a capital, which is very interesting to me, and it makes me think more because someone asked the question of like, okay, what about a personal union? It's like, yeah, personal unions and subjects, those count as like countries where yeah, that is still the capital of a different country. So it's like, well, if you have subjects, they can have these buildings too inside them. Like, oh, that's interesting. Um, but the can recruit regiments here, for example, is a really interesting thing. It's like, what sort of situation do you have where you can't recruit regiments unless you build the sergeantry? Like, something you can only make in your capital as well.
Don't
It's like,
get actual dudes.
you just can't recruit soldiers unless you build this. There's like, I guess this is a case of early game. People rely so much on levies, so there's that. Where it's like, oh, maybe not everyone has the ability to recruit soldiers, and maybe for the first however long of the game, you can only recruit proper regiments, which are also small, from your capital, and only if you have a sergeantry built there, which is interesting to think about. Production methods of the buildings automatically change to the best version monthly. Victoria player channels. Yeah. Wow. It automatically changes to the most efficient one? Crazy. I can't imagine that. Jeez. I can't remember. I've watched so many Victoria 3 videos where someone's been playing and then it's like, oh, like 3 decades after they researched a technology, they realized that like they didn't change any of their production methods. Potential location. Oh, they're just talking about like place names and stuff. Ooh, that's a cool picture though. Oh, they're not just talking about naming stuff. They're discussing the idea of yeah. Many places seem to have no settlement for the period, which does not help the side of this should not be wasteland. Yeah. So I guess this topic there's just a bunch of land out here, I guess that there's just no one there, I guess, is the idea. There's no one that lives in these locations really at this time period. But at this point in time, we know that I don't know. I guess I can see the complaint being then that well, you make this empty and unownable even though there's no one there, but realistically at this point in time you could represent the low numbers of the Sami by having them most of this place be wasteland that's unownable, but then the Sami are like clumped into a few of these smaller corridors. So, yeah. And then they're talking about, yeah, Oman expanded south. Hmm. Yeah. Well, it's not my horse, not my race. as much as it is an interesting topic that I'm sure many people are passionate about. But with that, I do believe we are done. I don't think there's much more to be said for now. Until we talk about India on Friday. So, but for now, I shall be ending this here. So, I thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time. We talk about India and combat or conquest. Yeah, but India's next.
Yes.
Conquest is next week. Yeah. Bye.